So this is how, the Startup India has been started on 16 January 2016 by our Honorable Prime Minister. Now, let me tell you something with respect to what ecosystem was before. It was, the way startups and all that stuff has started way back in 2000s itself, where, there was a whole set of beginning of that whole evolution and the startup ecosystem. But it was in 2016, which actually was the turning point for the entire ecosystem. Beyond that, it actually increased so much in terms of the support, whether it be from the government policies, whether it be from the funding. We have lots of investors today. We have a lot of mentorship possible today. We have so much ecosystem that has been created. Now, in terms of the key pillars of the startup ecosystem, is one is simplification and handholding. Now, what we believe is, in terms of every startup which approaches, or every startup which has some or other issue, it has to be handholded. Every process has to be simplified. And the whole objective is where a person can actually create jobs and focus on the startup rather than looking at or focusing on how to resolve policy issues or how to resolve compliance and all that stuff. So we want it to be very smooth. The second major pillar is funding support and incentives. Everyone is in need of fund. Not everyone can actually bootstrap. So this is where we believe that funding support is required, and there are special incentives which will be further ahead in the presentation, which I'll share it with you. Second is industry academia partnership. The thing is that our startup ecosystem cannot be driven by one single entity. It has to be in collaboration with the industry as well as with the academia. That is how a whole set of ecosystem will be there. And that's how things will evolve when industry and academia come into picture. I believe this whole startup ecosystem can also be in the start college, because in college days, you have a lot of freedom in terms of where you can actually go and experiment stuff. You can actually go and work along with friends and you can start building something. So this is where I believe the academia will come into picture. At the same time, without industry support, we cannot scale ahead, because there might be few innovations which might be required for industries at some or other particular point of time. So these are the more or less the pillars of the action plan. Talking about the startup ecosystem, we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Now, let me tell you one interesting story here. We believe that there are startups only from the tier 1, and more or less the whole set of ecosystem is growing in tier 1 cities, or entrepreneurs are more or less coming from those cities. But if you look at the whole ecosystem, how we have grown over a period of time, a lot of queries, or around 60% of the queries that we have, which we receive, are coming from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So as you can see, that 45% of startups are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. This actually is a great number in terms of the entrepreneurship spirit and the entrepreneurial mindset being actually evolved into the rurals as well. And people are understanding what a startup is. They have innovative ideas, they want support, they want assistance. And that's how the whole Startup India platform is, where we can actually help each and every startup to scale. If you look at the average age, 31 years is the average age of founders in India. As a country, we have immense potential in terms of the future, because the average age of a person who is founding is 31. And there are some amazing stories where people below 25 have actually made a companies which are now unicorns. A startup, the whole purpose is more or less to create jobs. We say that be a job creator rather than be a job seeker. On an average, startup generates 12 direct jobs. Here I'm mentioning about 12 direct jobs. Look at the perspective where the jobs can be indirect as well. And this indirect jobs are almost 2x to 3x of the direct jobs. So direct jobs are 12 jobs is what a startup is generating out of. The total number of startups today DPIIT recognized are 32,500 plus. We look at increasing this numbers very soon. This is a huge growth in terms of what the startups have been recognized. And if you look at the total startup policies, initially it was very few states before the Startup India the whole action plan was launched. Before that, I'll be explaining it more in the coming slides. But prior to this, only 3 to 4 states were actually having the startup policies. But after the action plan, the whole country understood the so importance of startup policy to be there. The whole set of encouraging the ecosystem. Now we have 30 states and union territories in total, which have the startup policies, which provide various incentives at par with the center. If you look at the heat map, this is the Startup India recognition coming from almost 80% across. Now let me tell you the sector focus in startup ecosystem. This is this data is this analysis is from the recognized data that we have. The highest share is in the IT service sector, which is more or less 14%, and then comes the health tech and education. Now, being in the COVID scenario, yes, the health tech and edutech are a boom. IT service is something that we need to now figure out, how the analysis and the trend is. But we all know that with respect to COVID, there is a huge increase in the health tech and education sector. If you look at the fastest growing sector, as per the DPIT recognized data that we have, these are the artificial intelligence, defense, robotics, construction, travel. Yes, travel again, the travel and hospitality sector has been affected right now. But yeah, this is pre-COVID. Post this, we need to figure out, how the things have shaping up, because a lot of companies, hospitality companies, also are evolving ways where they could probably go and explore around virtual lookup, etc. So we have to figure out, that because every crisis is an opportunity. So startups are in various sectors which are trying to figure out how they can solve the current issues. If you look at the sunrise sectors, this is more or less where the majority of the investment is flowing, where people are looking at, investors are looking at these sectors. So fintech, health tech, enterprise, and retail tech are something that the current sunrise sectors are. Now we all we live in a century where we look at things completely technology driven. We have heard about AI, we have heard about blockchain, we have heard about deep tech. So this is something the new, the whole new evolution is created over this. And 18% of all startups are now leveraging deep tech. If you look at the numbers, it was way back 8% in 2014. And within, let's say, 6 years, it's almost 18%. So the way the deep technology is being used in every innovation that has now been created is a great sign for the technology to be taken ahead in the near future. Now, this is a question that everyone has. What is a startup, right? We say startup. We have heard about this a lot of Startup India. What is a startup? Some people have a definition of a startup as something an innovative solution. Someone has another definition. But let me tell you what the Ministry of Commerce DPIT definition of a startup is. A startup is known as an entity which is either privately registered as private limited company, LLP, and registered partnership. Now, there is one person company partner is also applicable, but the whole advice that one could provide is to register as private limited company and LLP, because you do not get benefits, tax exemption benefits on the registered partnership. So this is what we generally prefer in terms of, where if anyone is planning to start his own startup, please do go ahead and go with private limited company and LLP. This is again subject to your discretion. We do not recommend anything. It's just up to, we do mention the tax benefits which are applicable at what sort of entity registration. If the startup has to be less than 10 years of incorporation, the turnover should not exceed 100 CR, and a startup should not be formed at, by separation of a major entity. So that is something where if a big firm is there, if there is a breakdown and you're trying to create a new set of firm just to share the revenues and avail the tax benefits, that is not something done. So it has to be fresh. And if you look at the nature of activity, what we look at is the startup if whatever problem you're solving, whatever solution you are building, or whatever product you are building, it has to be innovative. Let's say if you're also starting a restaurant, for example, if you are showing that this restaurant is unique in a way, what you're building is unique, it has some new innovations, it has deep tech being involved. So that is how we'll be considering you as a startup if there is an innovation, if there is job creation, and there is improvement in process. If you look at Zomato, it's an aggregator, but the way the technology has been built, that's the reason why they've been categorized as startup, they've been registered as startup. So this just an example. If someone will just say that I'm putting up a restaurant, will it be considered as a startup? No. You need to show certain innovation in it, you need to create jobs, and you need to show what is the scope in the near future in terms of improvement. So that is something that I would request you all to kindly keep a note of. Now, the recognition process is fairly simple. Let me just bring to a point here that there might be a lot of people in the market, in the ecosystem, who would be letting you know that we'll get the startup recognition done, etc. But let me tell you very honestly, this is a very simple platform, very neat platform where you can just go apply yourself. It's a very simple process. It just takes more than 15 to 20 minutes for you to submit your application. Everything is clear cut, where you just need to submit your founder and team details, your entity details, your business model and IP details if you have to. You just need to upload your relevant documents, which are more or less when you do all this time, you have those documents which you can just upload. And based on the submission of documents, the authenticity and the explanation has been provided in detail, we request you to kindly spend some time when when you're applying for the recognition, because if you put across the details clearly, it helps us to get to accept it or to approve it from the back end. So request you all to kindly spend some time in while you are submitting the form, and please do it yourself, because this is something that you will also eventually learn. At the same time, it's a fairly very simple process, very neat step, explain in detail on how to has to be done. So beyond that, the application evaluation is done by the team, and your DPIT recognition is approved in 24 to 48 hours. So you get recognized as a startup in 48 hours. Now, this is something, I'm coming to the next slides, is the support and incentives. Now, I've told you how to register as a startup, the process. Now, the thing is, what is it for a startup? What are the benefits? What are the supports? What are the incentives that Startup India provides? So there is a lot of you would have heard about government procurement. Initially when a government procurement is done, whenever a central government or a central government PSU, CPSUs, they float a tender initially. If the tender, if you have looked at the documents and tender, it will definitely ask you for the prior turnover, because it was initially for the industries where the turnover has to be this many crores, the prior experience has to be this many years, and there is something called the EMD, honest money deposit, which is how you have to submit this much. But we realized that a startup which has an innovative solution, a startup which has a perfect solution to any of the problem, should also be part of it. And being a startup, it's young and agile. It cannot have such experience. If let's say if someone has 20 years of experience, let's say someone has to deposit a huge amount, someone says that your turnover should be this much. So these are some of the challenges. What the government and Startup India has done is that these are all exempted for startups. For any central government tender and CPSU's tender, your prior experience, your your turnover, and your DMD, these are relaxed. So as a startup, you can approach and claim these benefits, and you can actually participate in it. And anyone who says, this is something that is not there, there is something called GFR. You can show them that this is a standard notification issued, and you can claim all these benefits. Now, let me tell you something about the patent. This is something that is actually a make and break for a startup, because at times for a lot of startups, investments or let's say any funding or more or less pilot access or mergers and acquisitions, anything is dependent on patent as well, because a startup comes across with a unique solution, but it has to be patented as well. Initially, it used to more or less take 5 years, if I'm not wrong, on an average, to get a patent and all. But now, with respect to the fast track movement, once you are a DPIT recognized startup, the process goes easily directly to the fast track movement, and it takes almost less than 3 years for you to get that. And the fastest what we have done is in 81 days. So this is something that for a DPIT recognized startup, your process application is completely fast track. And the one of the other benefit is also in terms of the application fee which is there. So you get an 80% rebate on that. And at the same time, with respect to the reimbursement of the patent filing, we do have a set of list of partners who are already empaneled with us. So you can find it on our website, startupindia.gov.in. So you have a set of empaneled people, partners whom you can approach, and they'll help you out with the patent filing. And these fees, the entire patent filing fees is reimbursed as well. So this is something that you can seek help of, and this is a major thing for any startup in terms of if they have a unique solution or if they have a unique product, it has to be patented. Another thing that I would like to also let you know, that being a startup, we want a startup to focus, as I mentioned earlier as well, that we want a startup to focus on scaling their particular product or solution, or expanding their horizons. We don't want them to figure out or spend most of their time on the compliance. So based on this, if I'm not there are like certain 6 environmental laws and 3 labor laws which are just being asked you to self-certificately declare. So you can just self-declare it that you are compiling to those laws. You need not provide anything else. You can just self-declare it. So these are some compliance regimes. This is something that is just beneficial to the startup, because we don't want them to fall into various other categories. We just want them to focus on their product and scale it up. Now, coming to funding innovation, we do have 10,000 CR Corpus Fund, which is by the innovation fund that we have. Now, this 10,000 Corpus Fund has to be disbursed by March 25th. Now, let me just explain you this with an example, because this is something that many might not be able to understand. This is something called a fund of fund. Now, let me try to explain this with an example. There is, there's an entity called SIDBI, Small Industrial Development Bank of India, which actually maintains this and drives this. So let's say there is a VC fund. Any example, let's take a name, XYZ. There is an XYZ VC fund which has a budget of, let's say, 100 CR. Now, as a SIDBI, they can invest up to 25%, that is more or less 25 CR from the government kitty into the venture fund, into the XYZ venture fund. Now, what is happening here is when this sort of investment is happening, the venture fund has to invest 2x of it, that is 50 CR of it onto the DPIIT registered startups. So this is more or less a catalyzing effect where you're actually multiplying what you have contributed to what the VC fund now will contribute into the startups. So this is the whole where effect. If you look at the total startups, total number of VCs that we have are 53 VCs which are with SIDBI, and 342 startups more or less have been dispersed with an amount of 3,700 crores. So this is the whole set of an effect, which if you look at, compare it with the multiplying effect, you can just see that this contribution is 6x. Let us assume that this 10,000 has been dispersed. Now this will more or less create almost 60,000, 70,000. 60,000 is the 6x plus 10,000, the existing one, that is 70,000 crores, which is more or less a huge benefit to the entire startup ecosystem, because this money will be invested into DPIIT registered startups. So there's the whole mechanism of FOF, which is there. And 340 plus startups have been benefited out of it, which they have got their investments from. Now, this is something that, this is very unique with the Startup India, that is the Startup India online portal. We have almost 4.09 lakh users, which also, lets me say that this is also one of the largest virtual incubator, more or less, because the facilities that are being provided here are immense. The benefits and the incentives that you get are immense. Now, here, two things I would like to mention here, that you need not be a DPIIT recognized startup as well to avail certain benefits. There are few benefits which you just need to register as a user on the hub, that is the portal, and you can avail certain benefits. If you're a DPIIT recognized startups, you are open to avail any benefit that has been listed on the portal. And let me tell you that these are all pro bono. These are all pro bono and these are not charged at all. For example, let me just tell you as an example that you can consider this as a mini LinkedIn, where you can network with anyone. You have, let's say you have an idea. Now you want to convert into a startup. You get onto the portal, you sign up. Now what you seek is, okay, you have an idea. Now you need certain mentorship. So you already have a mentors listed on the portal. You just need to send them a request. Once the request is accepted, you can discuss with them. These mentors are also categorized into, you can categorize them by sector, by the location. So let's say you register yourself from a tier 2 city. Now you want a mentor to be present in this tier 2 city as well. So you can filter it out. So every option which makes ease for startup in terms of achieving any sort of mentorship, incubation, any support, this is the place where all the startups have to be. So this portal will let you access mentors. This will let you access other startups as well, where you can actually interact with the other profiles. Now coming to other benefits here is, let me tell you that there is also something called partner benefits that we have, wherein you can just look at the resource partner network over there, wherein you get free cloud credits, tele call services, legal services. All these are pro bono. So this is the portal where you definitely have to be there. I would request you all to register and avail the most of it. Also, yes, there are on the right, if you can look at, there is something called the curated learning program. Let me tell you something about this. It's called the learning and development program, where you have an interest. You have this kida ki chalo startup karna hai, or you want to understand that what the entrepreneurship is all about. Or let's say about startup, about the basics, but you are not aware of what this termship is all about. How does the funding work? So there is one course, that is the learning and development course, which is the solution for all of it. Right from the scratch, everything is being taught, and it's completely free of cost. It's available in Hindi and English, and it's completely virtual. You can access it sitting anywhere at your place, at your workspace, etc. Anywhere from the world, you can actually access it, and you can go through that learning program. At the end of the program, you also get certification from Startup India for that. But more than the certification is the immense amount of knowledge, along with the practical experiences in terms of, you get to download the term sheets, you get to understand how it is, and you get to understand how the funding works. So this is something that I recommend every individual who wants to be an entrepreneur at the same time, who is a startup but looking at something else, who wants to learn. Please do go through it. At the same time, a lot of startups also have bit difficulties in terms of understanding the language of how a legal document has to be, or how a offer letter has to be provided to their employees. So there are also tools and templates which are free of cost available. You can simply access them. You just have to probably change your name, the XYZ name with your startup name. So it's as simple as that. These are set of readily available tools and templates which you can use. This is completely available free of cost on our portal. As I mentioned, with respect to the startup policies, before Startup India Action Plan, there were only 4 states. Now, if you look at majority of states and union territories have the startup policies, and these policies have immense benefits at par with the center. Let's talk about Gujarat only. The Student Startup Innovation Scheme, various other schemes like Kerala has provided some amazing procurement related stuff. Karnataka is Elevate. So there are amazing schemes which are by every other state, sorry, and every state would like to see their home ground startup scale across. A lot of states also provide in funding support. At the same time, provide some grants with challenges, help you access international market access, where they take care of your travel charges because they want you to get exposed to international market as well. So this is something that I would request you all to actually go through the state policies. There are incentives for women, there are incentives for students. You can start in your college. Maybe there is something called a student waiver that is there in terms of attendance. You might also get some credit, wherein instead of taking up an internship, you do a startup, you get extra credits for that. So it varies from state to state. I request you all to kindly go through your state startup policy and understand how it is. Now, Wing is something that I would request all the women audience who are here, who have joined us from various across places, request you all to actually look into this program, as this is something that is very unique in terms of empowering women entrepreneurs. There's something called Wing, Flying Together, where women entrepreneurs have provided every sort of support. This is in collaboration with various partners, and in terms of incubation, acceleration, mentorship, any support for women entrepreneurs are provided here, and this is all completely free of cost. There's completely pro bono, there's completely free of cost, where you can actually access the whole the platform that is offering in terms of the mentorship you require. In terms of, let's say you need an incubation center, you can approach. At the end of the program, what you can also, you get an opportunity to pitch, wherein, let's say you have built out of, you started with an idea, you took mentorship, you actually now build a product. Now, at the end of the day, you need funding. So at the end of the day, you also have an opportunity where you can pitch your whole set of product or solution that you have created. And, you might end up getting funded as well. So this is something that is there. And I would request you all to go through this. There's also the complete details are available on our website. Now, let me tell you about this international market access. We don't want startups to be restricted only to the nation. It's like, the dream of the Make in India products to be across places. The Indian products to be used across places. And if they are solving for the global solutions, that is something, the world dreams of. That is something the Indian dream is, where the Indian products made in India are actually solving the global problems. And this is how the international market access is actually helpful in terms of the cross-border exchange of startups, wherein we also believe that every country is more or less specific in a particular, let's say agri, or let's say any other sector. So, and they look for innovative solutions. Now, the best practices are always across places. We want the best practices in our country to be used to help solve problems for other countries as well. This is how this whole bridges. At the same time, any startup based in India, let's say one of the example is the, probably the next slide would let you know of this. The India-Japan international bridge is called the JETRO, wherein any startup wants to understand the Japanese ecosystem, or wants to try and kind of sort of understand or work with a player in the Japan ecosystem, or to obtain incubation, or vice versa. So this international bridge platform helps, it acts as a bridge between the two countries, where exchange and help is offered to understand the both countries' ecosystem. as I mentioned about, the Japan India Startup Hub launch. Now, one of the interesting thing here is, if you look at, SoftBank has come up with a challenge wherein they have received over 300 applications for the problems identified in the, focus areas like machine learning, predictive analysis, face recognition, and cybersecurity. And the winning startup was actually awarded a cash prize of USD 50,000 and a paid pilot opportunity. Now, let me tell you here, the USD 50,000 is a cash prize, is more or less of a grant. It's not an equity or anything sort of it. So it was direct money being provided to them. It was a sort of grant, and they were provided a paid pilot opportunity as well. This is the power of, the bridge. This is what I was talking about initially, that if you are able to solve something big, if you're looking at solving a global problem, and if you're actually making an it in India, this is the opportunity for you to scale it across. Use the opportunity of the international bridges that we have. You can actually check all the international bridges that we have on our website. Now, this is something, again, what as I started mentioned it in the initial, that industry, academia have to be part of in terms of building a strong ecosystem. Now, the ways a corporate looks at a startup is, one, to kind of identify a set of good innovations in a sector that the corporate is into. Another aspect is where they look at, if they have a particular problem, if there is a startup which is actually helping solve, or already solving any issues that the company is facing. So that is one aspect the corporate looks into. The other aspect is where they see a particular startup is solving a problem which is more or less similar to the problem that the company is facing. These company will help work along with the startup and fine tune it, tweak it in a way that the company gets benefited. So these are the ways the corporates actually looks at startups in terms of associating with them. And over 250 startups have been benefited, where these startups have got pilot opportunities with the corporate. One of the examples is the WhatsApp Grand Challenge. There are grand challenges with the corporates where they provide their problem statements, and startups across try to figure out solutions. And few are already working on those solutions, but at the same time, few who are not, they also have a problem statement. So they try to figure out, this is the solution that can be built. So this is how the corporate engagement also happens. And let me tell you, like, also there is, initially on the website, so let's say you do not have an idea. There are also a set of idea bank that we have on our website. You can look at it. Let's say, we all say that a startup more or less is, you should try to solve a particular problem. But at times we are not able to see a problem in our daily life, assuming it, right? So we do have built a set of idea bank as well, where you can actually look at and try to probably look at the problems and figure out a solution. You might, when you're reading through a problem, you might understand, oh, this is actually a problem. We might not have thought about it, but this is actually listed there. So you can actually have a use of it and probably build a unique solution which can actually solve that problem. As I mentioned about the grand challenges, WhatsApp had come across with the grand challenge with the focus areas for healthcare, rural economy, education, citizen safety, and financial and digital inclusion. And almost like more 10 startups pitched, and the cash prize of USD 250 was awarded to the top 5 winners. Again, this is the cash prize. I'm not talking about equity or any stake in that. It's cash prize. So this is a unique about the corporate challenges. And at the same time, let me add to this is a credit was also FB ad credits were also provided to the winners in terms, which is again linked to their WhatsApp business account. So if you look at the numbers, received over 1,700. And out of that, 10 pitched and 5 were awarded. At the same time, they were also provided FB ad credits, which are linked to their WhatsApp account, business account. As I mentioned to you on the portal, we do have our pro bono service providers. I request you all to leverage this opportunity. If you are facing issues with the legal, we do have some, legal services. We have tools and templates. We have cloud credits. So everything is on the resource partner portal, which are provided free of course. Please do have access to it. Please do visit our website so that you can get a glance of what are the service provided by various partners whom we have. So as I mentioned, even if you're not a recognized startup, there are certain services which as a user who gets access to on the portal. If you're a recognized startup, you are more or less you can use everything. Yeah. So along with corporates, engagement with various another ministries is also one of the key. One of the example is with respect to the CRPF, where they had come up with a problem like help us build shoes with more spikes because the existing ones were not able to sustain in the higher terrains. Another one was the instant blood clot solution. Other one was drone surveillance. So these are something that the CRPF has come up with the problems, and then this was further open to startups in terms of provide solutions for that. And currently, few of them are also taking a pilot opportunity with them. Few of them are working on the solutions provided, and they have been receiving constant feedback as well. So there are various challenges, there are various initiatives by ministries as well as other state governments where they tell us these are the problems that a particular industry or a particular department or particular ministry is facing, and we open this challenge to startups wherein they come with their own solutions. And if the solution is unique and if the solution fits and is solving the problem, they get a pilot opportunity to work with the ministry and department / government itself. As I move to with respect to what the Startup India extensive network is, you name it, we have it. Whether it be incubator service, whether it be state policy support, whether it be acceleration support, whether it be funding help, whether it be mentorship, each and everywhere, the whole set of ecosystem is connected. And that is the whole objective, that we are trying to make things quite easy for a startup. Whatever they need, we want to be the one shop where, you can actually come, tell us what you want, look at our portal, be part of it, apply for recognition, get recognized, and use the services. As I'm available here. You can just, if you have any queries, this is the concluding slide of the whole benefits and the whole incentives what Startup India is doing. And I'm looking forward that many, let's say, entrepreneurs or startups evolve out of looking at this, availing the benefits and contributing to the growth of the new India. If you have any queries, you can just write it to us to dipp-startups@nic.in. Now, another interesting part is these queries are not addressed by any third party. The entire team of Startup India actually addresses these queries because we want to stay connected with the startups on ground. Unless and until we ourselves do not know what are the challenges or the queries the startup has, it becomes quite difficult to interact and to understand what the issues are. So we ourselves solve these queries. We ourselves resolve these queries. So please do reach out to us. If you have any queries, you can write it to that. And my name is Krishna Godipuri. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter. I'll be happy to address any queries. Any queries that you have, please do reach out to me. I'll be happy to solve it. Yeah, that's from me, Dhara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishna. It was indeed a very informative session because काफी सारी चीजें हमें जानने को मिला. Like people are generally of the opinion that Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai में से ही सारे startups होते हैं. Like 45% of startups are from tier 2 and 3 cities, and the various benefits that the startups can avail. So forward to this discussion and presentation, we have some queries coming from our early stage startups and our coordinators as well. That at what stage can they register? Like there are several who are in a very initial stage, and in the same lines, they have a question like, what are the prerequisites or what kind of documents are mandatory for them to register as a startup?
Yes, Dara. So as I mentioned, the turnover should be less than 100 CR. The incorporation should be less than 10 years. And if they are solving a particular problem, they have to be unique. And in terms of the whole startup should create jobs, and it cannot be formed as part of separating from a major entity. So if these criteria are met, they can actually register as a startup and obtain the DPIIT recognition. It is irrespective of the stage. If these criteria are met, they can happily register and get the recognition. And to answer your question in terms of what documents they require, as I mentioned, the process is very simple. It's just like your incorporation documents, maybe your in terms of the address proof, etc. All these things are required. It's very simple application form which you can actually look at the Startup India recognition. You can just simply Google Startup India recognition form, and the first link that you actually get is the recognition form. So you can simply fill it, and if any queries, please do reach out to us.
One question that we have from Facebook Live is that is it possible for a foreign company to register under this Startup India initiative, and what exactly is Startup India Hub?
Yeah. So with respect to a foreign company to register, incorporation has to be in India, Dhara. So if their incorporation is somewhere else, it's not possible. So incorporation has to be there. One thing that I would also like to mention, because it's you have mentioned about the NRI portal, we do also have the international platform portal on the Startup India as well. These international pages where we have almost 400 plus users who have registered, and they also connect with, if you are a person who is sitting somewhere else and want to connect with the ecosystem as well. So you have parallel profiles also which are listed. As I mentioned, we have almost 400 plus. So they can also access some of the network and the free resources as well to an extent. But yes, if you want to get the recognition and etc., their incorporation has to be in India. It cannot be from the outside else.
Okay, thank you so much, Krishna. Then we have one question that if a person, there is a startup, like he's the only founder and he's a one-person company in a way, so will he be able to avail benefits, or is it mandatory to have a team?
One-person company is also accepted.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question. One question is that, as you have mentioned, that there are several initiatives wherein the various government bodies are involved. So, is there a direct way through which a startup that is registered can get in touch with a concerned department of the government?
So it depends on the challenge. The government department is rolling out. So when we work with the various departments in terms of, so we more or less work on the challenges or the issues that they have. Then we roll out this challenge. So when we roll out, we actually roll it out on our Startup India website. We actually post it across that this is the challenge that we are coming across. We also post it from our social media handles. So the startup can directly apply to the particular challenges. And if at all, if let's say if irrespective of the challenge or irrespective of the event, if they need any support with any other concerned department also, they can reach out to the email ID DIVP-startups. So we would definitely look at it, and if at all it's concerned with the relative department, we would push it to the concern and try to resolve it as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, one question is that ये जो current scenario है, उसमें are there any initiatives, such kind of challenges in this COVID scenario, wherein these startups can get a push, especially जो product-based startups है, who are in a way stuck because of this scenario?
हाँ जी दारा, so हम लोगों ने क्या किया था कि हम लोग कुछ दिन पहले we did demo days wherein we floated a call for application where if any startup has innovative solutions to combat COVID, we requested them to provide relevant solutions in 1 minute videos and all. The entire form was there where we asked them to provide whatever they're trying to build, and post that we did demo days where we had various stakeholders, whether it be from various government departments, corporates, investors, because every startup is in need of something else. Few were just in the need of providing government orders or private market access or anything sort of it. Few were in need of investment. So accordingly we did demo days. Coming to in terms of any support in assistance and all, so I would request the concern to check the Startup India COVID-19 resource section page. So you can actually find a list of the funds which are currently available, whether it be ACT or whether it be other department schemes. So you can check that resource section page.
Great. So we have several startups in this area, so I think this is going to be really helpful to them.
And I would also, just to add that, sorry to interrupt, I would also ask them to also check out various state governments initiatives as well, because Kerala is doing demo days currently. They are almost, I guess they've finished, or if I'm not wrong, they were on the fifth day today. So there are various state governments which are also doing a lot of demo days at the same time. A lot of other departments are also doing the demo days. We are trying to provide the best to the startup. So request you all to kindly keep a tab of all this information, and you can relevantly get this information on the social media handles.
Exactly. So there are questions coming up regarding funding access. So what ways do they get connected to the VCs or angels, or what is the procedure if they are registered on your portal? Then what are the benefits that they get in terms of funding?
Yes. So Dhara, just to clarify that we do not directly deal with funding. It's in terms of providing any sort of funding assistance, or not assistance, but in providing any sort of fundings. But the only thing that we probably do is we facilitate and help them connect to the relevant stakeholders. The two ways looking at it: one is on a portal. There is as I mentioned, that the hub also has an investors listed there. So once you are registered on the portal, you can send invite request to them. Once they accept your request, you can probably have a conversation with them to understand, what are they looking at to invest in a particular sector or your startup, etc. That is one. The second, as I mentioned about the demo days that we did, wherein we also involved and called upon certain investors in our resource partner network, where we requested them that if at all a particular startup is looking at funding, so if the VC is interested, then they look at it. So it's more or less the facilitation that we do in terms of funding, and then as I mentioned, on the 10,000 crore fund of fund is there, so that works on parallelly.
Okay, great. So another question that we have is that there is one of our startups who has this query that they are incubated in one of the Atal incubation centers. So is there any issue if he gets registered there? So I don't think it is so, but if you could just throw some light as to if they have to be incubated somewhere, is that mandatory to get registered?
No, should not be an issue. Should not be as per the definition of startup. If they are following the set of rules that I already mentioned in terms of the turnover in terms of the incorporation, so these are the set of the definition that we look for while giving any recognition.
Are they so now for the early stage startups who are just in the very MVP stage or they're just developing the prototype? What kind of exposures can they get if they associate or they get in touch with your schemes or get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So the one initiative that I would like to bring on here is we started something called the virtual mentorship session in the current scenario, wherein we are trying to push it to various state governments, reach out to them, trying to understand what the startup ecosystem is need, and then we are trying to get the relevant mentors subject to what the ecosystem on the ground is required, because few states said they need some help on taxation, few said they need some help on branding. So accordingly, we are trying to figure out the best mentor in the resource partner network. And the whole essence here is not just a session where someone speaks, but it's like one-to-one is the whole objective, wherein let's say I as a startup might have some query, there might be a neighboring startup might have some another query. So we want to address each and every query, and irrespective of the number, even if it's like 2 to 3 startups who are participating in that, these 2 to 3 startups, the whole objective we want is their queries to be solved. So this is something that we are doing in order to help the early ecosystem. At the same time, as I mentioned, on our portal, once any individual registers, there are a set of list of mentors as well, subject to the sector, subject to the location, so they can easily approach them in terms of if they need any support. At the same time, for the early stage, they definitely need a lot of support in terms of, let's say, they want to hire, they want to make an offer letter, but they are not sure on how the offer letter should be made. So there are tools and templates which are readily available for them, so that they did not waste their time on these issues, but more or less focus on scaling their startup and improvising their product or solution.
Okay, so we have one of our faculties who पूछ रहा है कि you said that there are several training free certification courses. Is it only for the ecosystem enablers, only for the startups, or is there some criteria to get enrolled for those courses?
Right. So I mentioned about the learning and development course that we have on our Startup India portal. So it's open for everyone. That it need not be any particular set of individual. It's all about someone who has a passion towards entrepreneurship. They can happily go through it. And even if someone wants to learn, what it's all about, they can take it up as well. So it's available in 2 languages and it's free of cost.
Okay. Thank you so much, Krishna. One question that we have from our startup is that they are working on the they're working on the manufacturing side. They're conducting, they're making several products and trying to bring several changes in it. So now, considering the situation, they are unable to go ahead with this production part. So if they want to connect to a mentor, there you have a mentorship scheme. So how exactly do they approach, or do they approach the mentor directly, or how do they go ahead with the scheme?
Right. So in terms of the virtual mentorship session that I mentioned across, so that is something we are doing across states. So if let's say if a particular startup is on from a state, they can approach the state nodal, which in turn can let us know if this is a problem. Another way of looking, solving this problem is also wherein he can register himself as a user on the portal, and then he can approach mentor subject to his location as well as the sector or the issue that he's looking at. And there will be set of mentors already existing on the portal. He can just send them a request. Once they accept their connection request, then he can just take on the conversation and seek help. At the same time, if it's something that he needs any more sort of urgent help or any sort of, we are always available. He can reach out to any of our team members. He can reach out to the email ID that I mentioned. We try to look in the best fit and we try to resolve it soon.